Welcome back, Field of 68 After Dark. Terrence Oglesby, Jeff Goodman, Rob Dauster. We are live T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, where we just watched the number 4 seed UConn Huskies, the number 1 team on KenPom. As of this moment, absolutely mollywop a Gonzaga team.
Nobody is happier.
It's a good word.
Mollywopped them. I like that one.
That's a good word. I had to get that in there for you just so you'll be able to. I
You have
needed a
kids.
smile on
You
your
have
face.
kids. I respect that.
Yes, there you go. So 82-54. I don't know what I expected out of this game. I think you expected this.
Oh,
you were all in on this.
all
right?
in. I was like, what avenue is there that Gonzaga can win this
There
game?
wasn't one.
And we saw our, not right away, because Gonzaga hung with them for the first 10 minutes. They did. They hung with them.
I mean, every game starts 0-0.
No, but it was like, 25-23 at one point?
Yeah, I just don't know what you do.
UConn wasn't making shots.
Yeah.
But, man, this was a absolute domination by UConn. Another one. I mean, this is the 4th straight that they've pretty much won this one easy. All right, so when you said UConn is back, can I read you a tweet from 2018?
Yes.
So my tweet was, and listen, when he got hired, there was no bigger proponent of hiring Dan Hurley than me. None, period. So my tweet on November 15th, 2018, which was, 4.5 years ago, wonder if the pro Kevin Ollie fans and ex-UConn players still think it was the wrong move to get rid of KO and hire Dan Hurley. This was a no-brainer. Hurley's a grinder and a hell of a coach. Just wait until he upgrades the talent in stores. He took over a complete rebuild. Again, I wrote the story on Kevin Ollie that I think, I'm not going to say contributed to him being fired, but there was a lot of stuff in there about him not grinding. A lot. I talked to a ton of people around the program, and they replaced Kevin Ollie with a guy who is an absolute killer in his work ethic, and there's almost something missing with Dan in a way because he just needs to prove himself. He needs to win. Again, Andrea Hurley, his wife, summed it up best with Dan Hurley, and she said, "When he loses, he's miserable. When he wins, he's miserable. He is never completely happy and never completely satisfied, and that drives him, and that has driven him at UConn to get to this point. And I think he's happy today, but again, I think he's going to wake up tomorrow morning and be like,
"Not wake up." We just talked to him in the back, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess we gotta celebrate at some point." But I already just told my assistants to go start downloading clips of Texas and Miami so we can watch them on the flight back. Like, there's a certain way that he's wired, and I also do think that it's.
I think it's a little brother syndrome a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Sure.
Like, is he's never been like the guy. There's always been, when he was a player, his brother was this All-American, the star of Duke, won 2 national titles. Was he a national player of the year or something? Number 7 pick.
Bobby was the guy. Yeah,
Bobby was the guy. And then when he got into coaching, it was his father was like this Hall of Famer, one of the greatest high school coaches of all time.
You'll never live up to your brother as a player. You'll never live up to your father as a coach.
And until now.
Right.
And now he is in the Final Four with a chance. Like, they're going to be the favorite to win the national title no matter who they play heading into the Final Four. Like, it is I would love to have a real candid conversation with him about that, on like what that would mean to him and how that is kind of – he's a fascinating like psychological story. There's a lot
That's
going on.
That's one word for it.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I thought the most telling thing, and this was something small when we were standing on the court after the game, and he's kind of a rebel in that you look at all the guys that are there, they're cutting down the nets. Danny's the only guy with his hat on backwards.
Yes.
And I don't know how many people notice that, but I saw it and I was like, that's very on brand.
Yeah.
He's the only person with his hat on backwards.
Yeah, speaking of his hat on backwards, I was able to catch up with Dan Hurley after the game in the back. Our cameraman was Jeff Goodman. Don't judge us if the shot isn't great, but we were able to catch up with Dan. Let's cut to that interview now. Welcome. Now let me welcome onto the Field of 68 After Dark, UConn head coach Dan Hurley. Just made it to the Final Four. UConn's officially back, right?
Yeah, it's coming is now done. We're back. I think we're back. So just when you guys were going through that bad spell in January, right? Did you still believe that this group could get to this point, that they could get to this level again?
I mean, a level of the performance that we've played at through these 4 games in terms of, the way that we've dominated these opponents. I knew we could advance. I knew we could definitely make a run. The Big East just in general gets underrated in terms of the quality, especially the top 4 or 5 of that league was a monster this year. And I just knew that, once we got to the NCAA tournament, the games get officiated a little bit tighter, and there's a little bit more freedom of movement. It's less of a UFC fight and more of a basketball game. So did I think we would dominate this level of quality opponent? Probably not, or definitely not, but I knew we could be where we are right now.
Adama Sanogo, been one of the best players in this tournament to date. The passing today, 5 assists. Are you going to take credit for that?
No, I'm going to give that to Luke. I got Luke and Kamani have done an unbelievable job with the guards and the bigs. Those are 2 guys whose phone should be ringing off the hook for head coaching opportunities. They're 2 of the best in the country, and Luke's done a great job with Adama, just getting him to buy in, helping him kind of develop the fundamentals and the vision to be able to deliver it. And then we did a bad job, I think, of deploying, Andre during that one stretch of season in terms of where could we put him when people are guarding them the way that they were, and so I think it's a combination of Adama's skills developing and us being smart enough to put Andre in the right spots finally.
Yeah, unlocking Andre to me is the key to this team hitting their ceiling, right? What's different? You're putting them in short corners. You're using them as a roller. Is it just about making sure that defender is engaged?
Yeah, there's places that you could cut him from. We went to school on some NBA things in terms of what they do with guys who aren't that get played soft, and so as a cutter, he's got a free run to the offensive glass if they're going to play him like that. He could get into pass follows with our guards that can really shoot. Now people are forced to go over screens with him, and now he's rolling and he could attack the rim. And then we also just pleaded with him to play that maniacal defense and don't get rattled by it. Get on the defensive glass and push that ball in transition, because there's no one more exciting to watch in college basketball in the break than Andre Jackson.
You're in the Final Four. Does it feel as good as you thought it would feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, you know me. I think as soon as I walked in, I think Kamani said, so it's Texas or Miami, right? And then I asked him to put some, download some of both teams so we could watch them on the plane tonight. So that's just the way that, that's how we were all wired, man. It's like, but I think we'll enjoy it tonight on the plane. We'll have a good time on the flight.
What are you celebrating with?
I'm a tequila. I'm a tequila drinker.
Well, listen, I hope you have quite a few tequilas. I had too many last night. Feel 68 after dark.
I will not have them on the plane in front of the student athletes, though.
Smart answer. Today's episode is presented by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball's pick'em, where you get real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is pick whether a player will go higher or lower in Underdog's projected totals. That's points, rebounds, whatever. If you're like me and you think Marquise Noel is going to go absolutely nuts this weekend, pick higher on his points projection, throw in a couple of other picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, FIELD, to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Get in on the madness now.
Dan Hurley will be celebrating with some tequilas. At some point, T.O. and I are going to go celebrate with a couple slices of pizza somewhere.
Pizza, please.
Before we do, to me, we were just talking
It's your
about
secret
this.
pizza spot.
Secret
the
pizza
secret-
spot.
They had a
At the
line
Cousin
from here to
Farley.
Did you know
Reno.
it's actually called secret pizza?
See,
Oh, that was
Yeah.
what it's called. I thought it was.
It's called secret pizza.
Oh, it wasn't
Okay,
lying.
so now that makes more sense.
Yeah,
I thought you
don't-
meant like it's
he
a
didn't,
secret
He
spot.
didn't know it. He didn't know it was called that. That was just like it worked out that way. Anyway, UConn season flipped to me once they figured out how to be able to use Andre Jackson in a way offensively.
Yeah, they started. Teams started monster manning him, and at the end
Explain
of
what that is.
in the middle of January, people just started playing somebody in the paint against Andre
Rondoing.
Jackson. Yeah, they rondoed him, or they Russell Westbrooked him this season.
Too.
Like they're just sitting somebody in, and then they can be quote unquote ultra help side. What's happening now is he's using it as a runway as opposed to a stoplight. So now the guy's sitting in there in the paint, and he's
That's
like,
a great quote.
I can get going downhill fast, and then I'm even tougher to guard because I'm so stinking athletic. It's ridiculous. So that happens. He can still get by that guy in the paint because he's got so much speed going on. Or what they've also done is they've put him in the dunker spot. Mm-hmm. And when they put him in the dunker spot, the surprising thing is the fact that Adama Sanogo has been able to get by some 5 men. So what happens is he's using his ball handling ability at 6'9", 270 pounds, whatever he is. He's a big boy. I'm not sure what he weighs, but he's big. And he can draw over help, and then Andre can get a couple of dunks. And then teams start to be like, we can't do this anymore. Second half, Gonzaga quit doing that. And that's when it changed because they found out different ways. Andre Jackson found out different ways to help facilitate offense even with nobody guarding him. So what does that mean also? He passes the ball, jumps right into a ball screen. Something like that because there's no help right there. You're getting a lot of space for some of these guys. He's using his athleticism by playing with speed in space. That helps too. And then Hurley's helped him out by putting him in that dunker spot to where he can get some confidence. If he hits 1 3 a game, it's a complete win. If he shoots 2 3s a game, I'm fine with that too. Because even if he goes 0 for 2, you still have to at least
You got to have the threat.
it's going to be
the
there.
Threat.
That's
it's the
right.
threat of the 3 more than actually making the 3.
Exactly right.
Adama Sanogo as a passer. How about this? His
Really good.
career high coming into tonight was 3 assists. In the month of March, in 7 games, do you know how many assists he had coming into tonight?
Go ahead.
4 total. First half tonight, he had 5. It's part of the reason why they were able to kind of flip what Gonzaga was doing. Gonzaga had some really interesting defensive tweaks, and we can talk about that in a little
Well,
bit.
Timmy started
Started
on Jackson, and he did that. He rondoed him.
Yep.
He rondoed him early, and
And
again,
then what they did was they put him on the same side when Adama would post up, and Timmy would go double, and you got that little pocket pass, and got 3 or 4 dunks out of it.
They did.
How good has Sanogo been?
well, Sanogo was a black hole last year, a complete black hole. Like you threw it into him, you knew you weren't getting the ball back. And tonight, I think, showed the maturation of Sanogo. And again, it's not that he's not a willing passer. It just took him time.
He didn't know where to go with it.
Right. It just took him time to figure it out. And tonight, man, if he can do that again next week in Houston, it adds another element that UConn has that, again, makes up for their one glaring deficiency, which is a lack of a point guard. I talked to Bobby Hurley after the game, and we were talking about that. He goes, yeah, but like that's it. They have everything else, everything else. And we'll get Bobby Hurley on this week in Houston. I assume he'll be there, and he'll have some great stories about his brother. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah. All right. So this was the end of Drew Timmy's career, it appears. I think he still has a year of eligibility.
He does,
if
but he said
wants
he's
to
done.
use it, but
He
he
said
said
he's
he's done.
I respect that, man.
22. What was it? 2,295
Over
career
over
points?
2,300 points. including tonight.
2,300 career points. Drew Timmy. I mean, Goodman. This kid. I mean, all-time great player, right? Is that fair to say?
Oh, hell yeah. All-time great player. Yes, one of the greatest college basketball players we've ever seen. Now, I didn't get the title, but again, he got close, and he got that program to a level. I mean, I tweeted, I'm looking for it right now. You guys, you can look for it. His record now in his career. I think that was his 13th career loss.
That's crazy.
13 in his career. That's insanity. I went in the locker room after the game just because, again, first time I saw him was at the Peach Jam and fell in love with him because of the way he plays.
Sure.
The emotion and everything.
The sheer joy in which he
Yeah,
plays.
like he has fun. Now, sometimes, again, people don't like him because, the stash thing and whatever, and he'll talk some shit. But you know what players will say about him, they've gone against him, is like he just loves to talk. Like it's not bad trash talking. He just talks to
talks
him all
the whole time.
game.
Yep.
He loves that, and again, like it was sad to see him go out this way. Like they never even kind of put up a fight because he didn't have enough around him to put up a fight. He didn't. You could see it tonight.
Yeah,
And that fourth foul, listen, whether John Gaffney got it right, wrong, or whatever, it didn't matter. They weren't winning this game. They weren't coming close. whether that call was
They
accurate.
got beat by 30. Like you
Right.
can't blame the officials on that. I don't think the officials were great tonight. I think if it was
They didn't change the game.
Yeah,
Right,
if
at
it
all.
was a completely biased Gonzaga whistle, then like you probably lose by 20.
Hey, the other thing can we talk about is and I'm reverting back a little bit to UConn, but Dan Hurley has been on his much better behavior with the officials over the last month or
Yeah,
two.
I noticed that.
Much better.
In this game,
Yes.
In
Yeah.
this game,
Yes.
the first 2 TV
Yes.
timeouts, he went ballistic.
All right,
Did
I
you not?
didn't
Did
see
you
it.
not see what happened during the TV timeout though?
Yeah.
Whenever the referee was still there.
Yeah,
Did you
what-
see the interview? It was fantastic.
Yeah, well, what I didn't see.
I was
the
watching
interview,
it on the way over.
But what happened was then when he would start going nuts, Luke Murray,
Yeah, they grab
Kamani
him.
Young,
They grab him.
and Tom Moore would all just walk between them, and they would create a wall, and they would put their heads down like this, and they just start. All 3 of them would just start walking at the same time, and Hurley would have nowhere to go. It was. Oh,
He's still been better, trust me. He's been better. On the whole.
The interview that the quick one question it turned into a 2 question because I can't. Lauren Shahadi, I think, is the one. And she's like, "What were you and the official talking about?" He's like, he's just the best in the business. He just does such a phenomenal job." And he starts joking around, and the referee's on the baseline laughing. And he's like,
Gaffney.
"Yeah, he's like, he's just one of the best we have in this game." Just kissing his ass like crazy, and then they kind of move on. But you could see like there wasn't a whole lot of malice between the two. So that is a big difference because there has certainly been a little bit.
So
Yes.
I asked you guys
Hold
about
on,
FAU.
we have two teams that have made the Final Four.
Yeah.
2 more bids are going to be clinched to Houston. We are going to be talking about that coming up next. Goodman is going to tell you why it's going to be one of the more intriguing Elite 8 days that we've seen in a while.